Good morning children. Today we are going to take our history chapter. Our chapter name is When, Where and How. When, Where and How. When, where and how. Okay children, in this chapter we will study what is history and which are the sources where the historians used for writing history. Okay, so let us start our new chapter. Okay, what is history? What is history? History is the study of past events. Okay, history is the study of past events in a chronological order. Study of past events in a chronological order. So history is the study of past events in a chronological order. Okay, so what is chronology? Arranging the events in an order, that is known as chronology. Clear children? So history is the study of past events in a chronological order. Okay, what all are the concepts we will study in history? In history, we will study about early human beings. Okay, their life, their occupation, their clothing, their way of life, their food habit. Okay, these all are the things we will study in history. Okay, then we will study about early societies, early human race, and what are the changes happened to this human race from past to at present. Clear children? So these all are the main concept or things we will study in history. Okay, so children, history is derived from a Greek word historia. History is derived from a Greek word historia. Okay, which means narration of the past. Which means narration of the past. Okay, narration of the past. Okay, history. Who do you know who is regarded as the father of history? Herodotus. Okay, Herodotus is regarded as the father of history. Herodotus is regarded as the father of history. Why Herodotus is regarded as the father of history? Because he was the first person who wrote history in a systematic way. Okay, so he was considered as the first historian. Clear? Now, can I ask a question? Writing history is a simple task? No, it is not a simple task. Okay, historians want to collect information, events, information, everything. Sometime one event historians will get. After that what happened sometime won't get. So they want to search another sources. All these sources historians want to analyze it. Finally only they are writing history. So it is a simple task? No, it is very difficult. Okay, and this writing of history mainly done by some scholars. They are known as historians. Okay. Then children, writing history I already told no, historians are using date and times for writing history. Date and time. When which date it happened, which time it happened. Based on that, historians are writing the history. Okay. Now, I think you got an idea about history. Introduction of history. Okay. Now, we can go to our next topic. Our next topic is about the classification of history. Classification of history. History mainly classified into three. Okay. History mainly classified into three. Prehistory, proto-history history. Prehistory, proto-history, history. Okay. Prehistory is the period where no written records available. It is the period where no written records available. Okay. Historians are not getting any written record about this period. That is prehistory. Second one, proto-history. In this period, written records are available. Written records are available. Okay, written records are available, but these written records yet not interpreted or understood. These written records yet not understood by the historians. Many written records available, but these not interpreted, yet not interpreted or understood. Interpreted or understood. So this is the period called proto-history. Okay, then history, next history. History is the period where all the written records are available. Historians are getting lot of written records for writing history. That period is known as history. Okay, written records are available. So, I think children, you got an idea about the classification of history. Prehistory, proto-history, history. Prehistory is the period no written records available. Proto-history is the period written records available but not yet interpreted or understood. Okay, history is the period where written records are available. Clear? I think children, you got an idea. Now, we can go to our next topic. Okay. Our next topic, how we can date an event. Okay, dating an event. How historians dating an event. Historians are using the convention of the birth of Jesus Christ for dating an event. Okay, the birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as year 1. The birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as year 1. Okay. So, after the birth of Jesus Christ is considered as AD. After the birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as AD or Anno Domini. Okay. And before the birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as BC. Before Christ. Before Christ. Clear children? The year of the birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as year 1. Then after the birth of Jesus Christ AD. Before the birth of Jesus Christ BC. Clear children? Okay. Then you know children, nowadays this term is replaced. Historians are using another term instead of AD and BC. Instead of AD, historians are using CE. Okay, and instead of BC, historians are using BCE. Okay, CE means common era. Common era. BCE means before common era. Okay, these are the terms that AD and BC replaced into CE and BCE. I think you got an idea. Okay, children, one more thing is there. Sometimes the historians don't know when this event is happened. In such a time, they will use the term C. Circa. Okay, they will use the term C or circa. I think you got an idea. Clear? So, AD, BC, sometime an event happened in 492 AD means after the birth of Jesus Christ it happened. Okay, sometime one incident or one event happened 79 BC means before Christ it happened. I think children you got an idea. Okay, can we go to our next topic? Okay children, now we will look how the historians used centuries for dating an events. Okay, but you know children, year of birth Jesus Christ. Okay, that is considered as year 1. The birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as year 1. So tell me children, how many years will make 1 century? 100 years. Okay, so 100 years equal to 1 century. Okay, so I think children you got it. So we will look children. So year 1, that is considered birth of Jesus Christ is regarded as year 1. So year 1 to 100 it will be first century. Okay, it will be first century. In between 1 to 100 that will be first century. Okay. Then 100 to 199 it will be second century. It will be second century. Similarly, 200 to 299 it will be third century. Clear? In that way children continuously we can write. Similarly, I am asking 1900 to 1999 it will be 20th century. Okay. Then 2000, now which year children? 2000, now which year? 2020, 2020 it will be under which century? 21st century. Now we are living in 21st century. So I think children you got an idea how the historians are using for writing century. Okay, and we can go to our next topic. Topic is about how geography is used to interpret history. Okay, applying geography to interpret history. Applying geography to interpret history. Okay, this we can explain with the help of some example. Okay, first children, can I ask one question? Why did the early civilizations flourish near river valleys? You got anything? Early civilization, you heard about civilizations? Many civilizations are there. Okay, Harappan civilization, Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Chinese civilization, like that many civilization flourished here. Okay, and these all civilization flourished near river valleys. Okay, for answering this question, some geographical approach that needed. Okay children, so this is a question in history. For answering this question in history, some geographical approach also needed. Clear? What I told, I think you got it. Okay. Why? Okay. Then tell me why very civilizations that flourished near river valleys? Okay children, I will tell. The people who lived in this civilization, their main occupation was farming. Okay, so if near the river side, you know river valleys, it is suitable for farming, suitable for agriculture. Water availability will be there, then you know soil will be very fertile, climate will be suitable. Okay, so because of all these reasons, all the civilizations flourished near the river valleys. Clear? Farming activity they can do. Okay. Not only this children, you know earlier time, now we have different mode of transport. Waterways are there, roadways, railway, airway. These all ways are we are using for as a mode of transport. But earlier time this type of mode of transport is there? No, only waterways. Okay, so river valleys, it is easy for transport. So their trading activities, everything took place through waterways. Okay, that is another reason why the civilization that flourished near the river valleys. Okay, so answering this question, we used some geographical term or geographical approach also. Clear children? Means river, about river, trade, that everything we will study in geography. So for understanding history, geographical term also used here, no children? So I think you got first one. Okay, next point can we discuss? Next, another term. So first children, early civilization, like point study, then you won't forget it. Okay, early civilizations flourished near river valleys. Okay, then second one, another important phenomena that is used to interpret history, that another geographical phenomena, that is monsoon. Okay, monsoon is another term or geographical term used to interpret or to understand history, that is monsoon. What is monsoon? Monsoon is derived from a Arabic word mousim, okay, which means season. Actually, this monsoon is the seasonal reversal of wind system. Okay, you know children, already we discussed early civilization people, they mainly did farming or agriculture. Okay, so this farming mainly rain fed. Clear? Means farming they mainly depends upon rain, monsoon rain. Farmers, they waited for monsoon rain. Clear? So here also using this concept, geographical term is used to interpret history. Clear? And one more thing is there children, earlier time the sailors or the traders, when they started their journey, they depended on the direction of monsoon wind. Okay, when the monsoon wind will blow into southwest direction, they start their journey, and the sailors, their ship, that is based on the movement of the wind direction, or where the wind move in that direction, they will did their journey. Okay, sometime they were traders, sometime for any exploration, these people they started their journey. So anyway, they mainly depends upon this monsoon wind, direction of the monsoon wind for their journey. Okay, so that is another term that used geography to interpret history. Okay, next another one. India, children, in India have large coastal lines. Okay, India have large coastal line, India's map, children. Okay, this whole area we know India is covered 3/4 of the earth. India that covered with the water. Okay, this area only mountain, all other side covered with the water. Okay, this side Arabian Sea, this side Bay of Bengal, this side Indian Ocean. So children, these all the ocean, rivers, everything make many coastal lines. Okay, and in these coastal lines many harbors are there, many ports are there, sometimes natural harbors, ports, everything are there. Okay, and through these harbors or ports, all the trading activities took place. Clear children? Okay, from this we can understand that the people of India, they did trading activities with some other countries. Okay, we did trade relation, we maintained our trade relation with Roman people, then Egyptian people. Okay, Egyptians, Romans and Mesopotamian people, this type of people we maintained our trade relation. Okay, so coastal line is a geographical term. Here this geographical term is used to interpret history. Clear? Okay, another important point children, that is our Himalayan mountain. Many passes are there in the Himalayan mountain. Passes, okay, Himalaya, mainly many ranges are there. Northern part of India, that is mainly mountain, Himalayan mountain. In that Himalayan mountain, many ranges are there. Okay, in that ranges many passes are there. Passes means navigable routes. Okay, through these navigable routes or through these passes, many people came to India. Some people came to India for trade. Okay, some came to India as a invaders for attacking India. Okay, many people came. I think you got children. Many people they came. Many were traders, many were invaders, and many were immigrants. Immigrants means people who move from one place to another place, or people who migrate from one place to another place due to some reason, sometime for getting better occupation, sometime climatical change. If climate change, they will move from that place to another place. Clear children? Not only human beings, animals also migrate. Clear? So these are some way or these passes helped. Okay, means children, these traders and some invaders and some immigrants who came to India through these passes. Okay, so this about mountains, passes, everything we will study in geography. So this geographical concept also used to interpret history. I think children, you got an idea. Okay, can we go to our last topic? Our last topic is about sources of history. Sources of history. Historical sources are mainly classified into two. Okay, archaeological sources and literary sources. So which are the two sources of history? Archaeological sources and literary sources. Okay, archaeological sources include coins, inscriptions, monuments and artifacts. Okay, then literary sources include religious literature, secular literature, foreign account. Okay, these are the main sources of history. Historians are using these all sources for writing history. Okay, archaeological sources and literary sources. Okay children, this we will explain in the next class. Okay, so I think children, you got an idea about today's topic. I think it is clear. Okay, we will meet in the next class. Bye.